How's that for a sense of scale? Look at these things blooming. Good grief. Early sun coming over the Sangre de Cristos. My bird feeder is empty. It was never full. Don't judge me. Pinyon jays are out, which is odd because normally this is woodhouse scrub jay territory. But the pinyon jays have been super vocal all morning, and I'm not entirely sure why. There was a wedding last night down in the Arroyo, which is the first time I've ever seen that happen here. I don't know, maybe that could have thrown them off. This is what I look at every morning when I get up. And I wish that some of you who live in the cities could experience this. Just don't come here. Don't come here. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not inviting you here. Nope. Not enough space. Stay where you are. I'll send photographs. Well, 2,400 miles in 3 days, which, based on a friend who's a trucker, is really not that much. But for a civilian like me, 2,400 miles in 3 days in a fully loaded van, that was enough. That was enough for me. This is my first moment home, my first sunrise home in 4 months, and it is absolutely glorious. The sage is blooming. I've never seen the sage the size that it is right now, which is kind of odd because they didn't have that much rain. This summer, the monsoon season has been really light, which is not good for us. And yes, I said monsoon. Look it up. It's actual. It's real. You don't have to be in India to get a monsoon. Trust me, the monsoons happen here. And it's absolutely glorious out here. And probably the most important part of this whole thing is what's inside of here. As many of you know, I'm a bulletproof coffee guy. I'm not a bulletproof brand coffee guy. I don't use their brand, but I use the methodology, which is espresso, good espresso. I never drink drip coffee unless I can, if I can avoid it. So it's espresso. It's a couple big spoonfuls of ghee, which is refined butter, Ghee, ghee. It's MCT oil, which bonds to the ghee and basically turns it into a long-lasting fuel. Imagine bulletproof coffee like diesel fuel. But here's the kicker. When I'm in New Mexico, there's a little something gets added to this, a little something gets in there, and that's New Mexican red chili powder. And when you combine those in there, there's life before New Mexican bulletproof, and there's life after. I failed to mention the milk. There is milk. I use oat milk typically. I don't eat a lot of dairy. I was allergic to dairy as a kid. It's never really been something I spend a lot of time doing. Cornering, capturing, killing, and consuming dairy products. I do like a good yogurt. And there is one thing I am looking for, if any of you jackals out there know where I can find it in the United States, and it's called quark. Quark. I think that's a mathematical term as well, but I, again, was a D- student in math. Might not be remembering this correctly. I'm looking for quark, and of all places I heard you can buy quark in America, which makes no sense to me at all, is Walmart. And I just slept in a Walmart parking lot in Kansas. I know it sounds glamorous. I know. I told you this van life thing is glamorous. It is. I slept in a Walmart parking lot in Emporia, Kansas, and I'd actually slept in that parking lot before, so was not my rookie season in the van. I forgot to look for quark, but I am looking for quark. I do use milk in the coffee, and I haven't even had my coffee yet, by the way, so if you think I'm energetic, spirited, now, just wait. I use oat milk typically. Occasionally, if I'm out, I'll use soy milk, but I just, dairy doesn't sit well with me. So there, take that to the bank, Mr. Seagal.
One thing I love about New Mexico, look at the height of that guardrail. If you lost your balance, you'd fall over right into oncoming traffic. We like to take risks here. So, siempre juntos. One of the cool things about electric bikes that you see now is you see these electric fat bikes, and there are people who are riding now that simply would not be riding without it. So I'm at the end of the rail trail. There's 6 sections of the rail trail. I'm at the end of the 5th. The last section isn't improved trail yet. It's single track, and it's pretty steep, pretty rough, pretty narrow, pretty sandy. There's a lot of thorns. You got to have good, either tubeless or bring your patch kits. But a woman just rode by me on a fat bike, and she was just cruising along, and there's no way that person would have been riding this without an e-bike. So in that way, it's kind of cool. I keep thinking I could film myself out here with anybody being around, but that doesn't seem to be the case. It just seems like a parade of people and bikes and walkers and cars, and yeah, so I'm just back, and I already look like a douche. So I just rode 15 miles. No, wait a second, 12.67 miles, basically all downhill. So now I have to ride 12 miles uphill, and I'm riding into a headwind, which just came out of nowhere, but it's New Mexico, so I should have expected that. It went from no wind to probably 15 miles an hour, and it's gusting, my guess is up to 30. So this is gonna be 12 miles of absolute suck. But here's the weird thing, hopefully this isn't too windy. The single is a blast, even in these conditions. More on this later. Oh, this isn't good. There's way too much stuff out in here. This is bad. This is bad. You know what I do when my drives are making that funny noise? See this little Buddha guy here? I move him out of the way, and then I do that and it stops. See? You thought I was not techie at all. Come on now. Hang on. Yeah, so this is a public service announcement. By the way, that studio lighting is brought to you by the sunlight in my, the roof light in my office. It's pretty easy to look around the world right now and say, everything sucks, right? Everything's out of control. You watch the media, you watch what's on the news. If you do that, I don't have a TV, but if I did, I'd probably be watching it. And you look around the world and you go, man, everything just sucks right now. Everything is stupid, everything is dumb, everybody's making bad decisions, whatever. And I think it's easy to feel that way. However, it's not true. There has never been a time in human history that humans haven't been negatively impacting the world. Our species is kind of vile, and that goes all the way back to the origins of our species. But the truth is, there's a ton of great stuff happening in the world. There really is. There's great art being made, there's great photography, there's literature, there's cinema, there's advances in science, there's advances in medicine, there are people doing cool things for other people all over the world. And that's the kind of thing that you have to let weigh on your system at the end of every day and the beginning of every day. And if you're one of these people who's involved in the 24-hour news cycle, my advice to you is to stop doing that right now. Read a book. You'll be much better off, and you'll have a much better mental space moving forward, because too many people are out there just saying everything sucks and the world's going to end. It will, and it will be ugly, and we could just end up as like a crimson stain on the sidewalk. But so be it. At that point, you won't care.